For US fans, this will feel a little bit worse than a draw, and for Welsh, the exact opposite. The 4-3-3 of Greg Berhalter matched up well with the 5-2-3 of Wales, but it wasn't meant to be as the teams drew 1-1 in Qatar. As we expected in the first half, the US had the majority of the possession and were completely dominating the midfield, something that we talked about in the pre-match tactical preview. Berhalter's plan was basically picture perfect in that first 45 minutes, but it was also down to the weird front three that Wales put out, which didn't really have a presence to hold up the ball and start a counterattack. You have to wonder why Kiefer Moore wasn't in the starting 11 for Wales, because after he came on in that second half, they became a much more dangerous team. On the goal, something that I'm really excited to talk about was something that we talked about in the preview of the game. We also predicted a 1-1 draw, by the way, so make sure to go back and watch that. But anyways, I digress. Josh Sargent was able to drag the defenders out of position, bring them away from their defensive line. Pulisic takes that perfect second touch to get himself into space, and Timothy Weah makes a wonderful run. They time the pass, the run, the shot, everything perfectly, and the US gets out to a 1-0 lead. Now this was able to happen because we used our forwards to drag the defenders away from the middle and use second runners to take the space. It also has to be said that from that moment of the goal till the start of the second half, Pulisic was basically unplayable. Weah makes an incredible run and times it perfectly into space, and that toe poke on the goal just to lift it right over the keeper and the defender's leg to get it over and into the net is perfect technique. On the defensive side in that first half, I thought we were really strong, and something that we did that I just want to point out because it will be really important, especially if we play similarly against Iran, is that every time that we pushed our fullbacks up, whether that was Jedi on the left or Dest on the right, is we replaced that player with Tyler Adams, Yunus Musah, or Weston McKennie, whoever was best fit to take that space. So for instance, we saw Tyler Adams drop in and protect the two center backs, or we saw Yunus Musah or Weston McKennie drop into that fullback position and just give us numbers in case Wales were able to counterattack. Something we did really well and controlled a lot was never really being exposed to the counter in that first half. Unfortunately for US fans, this is a game of two halves. It is a full 90 minutes that you need to play, and we really came out in that second half flat. While I'm obviously going to talk about the Walker Zimmerman tackle on Gareth Bale, I think we need to talk about a few other moments that happened throughout the game. Whether that was in the 8th minute, the Weah chance, and the Sargent header that just glanced the post, whether it was the Moore chance in the 64th minute, the header that was free at the 6-yard box and just put it over the net. And let's talk about that individual moment in the 80th minute when Walker Zimmerman put in that tackle against Gareth Bale. That was a penalty, guys. I don't think we can argue that. Walker Zimmerman makes a really bad decision to go through the body. Someone that we could depend on throughout qualifying, has been one of our best defenders throughout this entire last 2 years. Lets us down in that moment, but I don't want to get too down on him just because of that. That's one of the first mistakes that he's made in a US shirt, and those things happen, right? Like, emotions are running high. It's the 80th minute. We're trying to protect a lead with 10 minutes left in our first World Cup game that every single one of these players, by the way, all of our starting 11 had no World Cup experience. They were up for it, but Walker Zimmerman unfortunately makes the wrong decision, puts his body through Gareth Bale's legs, gives them the penalty, and Gareth Bale, what a penalty. I mean, puts the power on it. Matt Turner guesses the right way. I think he gets a hand on it, but he's just not powerful enough to match the shot. And here we are, 1-1, Wales on 1 point, US on 1 point. We go again on Friday against England. We need to be really careful because some of the things that we saw in this second half were dangerous to us, and especially when we think about Wales playing more to their strengths, having a physical attacker, a forward, and Kiefer Moore that can hold the ball up. He really mirrors, I mean, Harry Kane is not 6'5", right? But he is just as good at holding up play and letting his wingers, Sterling, Saka, Foden, all of them run in behind off his shoulder. That is going to be something that is going to be really dangerous. Something we need to watch out for when we play against England on Friday. We also didn't look super confident when the pressure was on us, and I expect on Friday that England is going to be pushing to qualify automatically with those 6 points, all other results being taken away. And the US is going to be under a lot of pressure on Friday, so we need to make sure that in those moments we can stay condensed on defense, really stay stable, and then break out, maybe with Timothy Weah's speed. We should talk about substitutes probably. I'm not going to make too much of not seeing Gio Reyna because we don't know his status, whether he was injured or not. I hope that he's not injured, but I can't see any other way why he wouldn't be on the field instead of Jordan Morris. So we'll see if Gio Reyna's ready to go, but I thought Timothy Weah had a good game. For me, Tyler Adams, man of the match for me. He just broke up every single attack that Wales had. Every time there was danger, he was sniffing it out. He could be a little bit more controlled on the ball, get us into better positions in the attack, but he did enough to just make us proud as a country. We live to see another day, guys. The name of the game right now in that first game is do not lose. Do not lose that first game. This was essentially an elimination game, and we made it through to play another day. So let's count our lucky stars. It is not the end of the road for this US team. We might shock some people on Friday against England, but really, we need to keep it close and then come out against Iran and score as many as possible. But we'll see where we are come Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. once the game is over. Guys, thanks so much for watching. On the last video, by the way, the Wales USA preview, I asked for 12 people to subscribe to get us to 6,000 subscribers. Just take a look below at how many subscribers we have now. So you guys crushed it. I hope you do that again on this video. If you learned something new or want to follow the US throughout the tournament, make sure to hit that subscribe button below. I'm Jake. This is It's Called Soccer. I'll see you next time. Peace.